like a million times better. Yeah, it is just so much better. Like, hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, me reviewing a 2022 Toyota 86 with the 6-speed manual transmission. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Toyota here in Murray for giving me some time with this 86. Check out the inventory in the description down below. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into the video. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 2.4 liter flat four cylinder that goes through a 6-speed manual transmission. Fuel economy is 20 around town and then 27 on the highway, with power outputs being 228 horsepower and then 184 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the 86. So first off, I love this in silver. It's more of a stealth color on the car, but it looks really good overall with all of the body lines. You can see the really sharp body lines here on the hood. And then notice with the daytime running light and then the headlights as well. The headlights are actually pretty bright for such a small car. You usually don't expect that. And then you guys can see here with the accenting off to the side, there's a little bit of venting too. We have our subtle GR badge, and then you can see here with the front grille and then the Toyota logo as well. And let's look at the sharp angles here at the front of the bumper. And yeah, overall, it's a really good looking car from a front end perspective. Coming on the side here, we've got two 15mm tires wrapped around 17-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you can see here with the trim on the wheel, notice how it's silver on the top and then you've got black on the inside part. And then you've got this venting here on the side, which looks really cool. Now we do have multi-link suspension in the rear. We also have a limited slip differential. I'm pretty sure with the automatic, you don't get the limited slip differential. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But if that is the case, that's another reason to get the manual transmission. But yeah, overall, like with this, everything happening here on the side, it looks really cool, especially if you take a step back. Again, just like look at that aesthetic there on the car. Definitely has this cool sporty look. And I like how the rear end kind of like bulges out a little bit. And then same with the front. And then notice here with the mirrors, so those are darker in coloration. Of course, got to have a shark fin there at the top. So here's the key fob. Notice we've got the lock function, the unlock, and then the opening here for the trunk as well. So just press that and then it'll pop right open. And lifting it up, you can see we've got our GR86 floor mat right here. And got a bag of goodies as well. That's pretty cool. But if we lift up the carpeting here, which apparently I'm struggling to lift up. There we go. You can see underneath the whole fix-a-flat kit and everything. And you know, it is a small car, but storage space is actually relatively livable. And then when you're done, just lower it down. Now let's finish things up here with the rear. So first off, I love how it just kind of like swoops up here in the back. And then you can see we've got another Toyota logo right there. We've got the camera. And then this is just the release for the trunk. We have our GR86 badge. And then look at the taillights. Definitely a distinctive appearance. And then I love the look of the exhaust tips here at the bottom as well. And you can see the whole diffuser setup. And then there's an exhaust tip on the other side. But other than that, that's the rest of the rear. Now here's the front door panel. You can see that we've got this nice padding here with the stitching across where you're going to rest your arm. We've got automatic controls for the windows. You can see that we're not allowed to roll them down because they were just tinted. But anyways, you guys can see there with the mirrors. And we're going to move the front seat for just a moment. So this does have back seats. Now, I'd probably reserve them for like storage. You could fit kids back there, but yeah, it is very cramped. You can see that you pretty much have to have no legs to be able to fit back there. Now looking at the front seat here, you can see with the headrest there, and then notice this is finished in cloth. You can get more upgraded seats, but this is pretty much like a base interior 86. But I love the pattern here on the center, and look how aggressive these bolsters are. Seats are manually adjustable. And then there is the 3-pedal layout. Got the trunk release right here, and I love the circular vents. That's another cool little touch. But let's pop in. So here is the steering wheel. Notice the padding all around the steering wheel. We have our GR logo there on the center portion. You can see the stitching here, right there. And then we've got like our voice command controls. We've got some controls here for the center screen. And you can see there, we've got our windshield wiper stock, cruise control stock, volume controls, phone controls, and then turn signal light stock. Quite a bit happening. But overall, definitely like the look at the steering wheel. Now here is the center gauge cluster. You still get a really nice digital gauge cluster even in the base model 86. Now notice there's some menus you can scroll through here off to the side with the car, and you can see that we have that little hill start assist if the camera will focus. Shows a little car there on the hill. Now this doesn't have like specific drive modes necessarily, but it also kind of does. So you have like your normal traction control off, right? And then you have your like track mode traction control, so you have to hold that down for a second, and then that'll pop us into like the track mode. So like it has a traction button, it's the track mode, but then it's also for the stability control. It's kind of a little bit confusing. And then if you hold the regular traction for a little bit, notice that that also changes the modes. So like I'll show you the buttons, kind of confusing, but that's how the drive modes work with this. So here's the center infotainment system. First off, if we pop it into reverse, you can see you've got a backup camera with trajectory lines. They do turn with the steering wheel, and resolution's actually solid on that. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, it's pretty easy to use. You've got these shortcut buttons here on the side. You can see pressing those, response time's good. And then you can see that pressing the screen, it also has solid response time. And so, yeah, I don't really have any complaints about it. There's nothing too crazy happening about it, but it works, right? Now, I've got our climate controls down here for the dual zone climate system. And then you can see here with the toggle switches for the climate controls, pretty cool setup. And then we have our GR stop start button. And then we have our shifter for the 6-speed manual. So first off, reverse is up and over just like that. And then as for the rest of the shifter, the throws are not like, I wouldn't necessarily consider this like short throw, but they are shorter in their throws, if that makes sense. Really notchy. It's an amazing manual transmission, actually. Definitely one of the best out there. There's not a lot, right, nowadays, but still, it's solid. And look at this, we got a brake so you can do your drifting and all that fun stuff. And then this is that whole traction system. There's a blank switch between them. But yeah, with the stability control and with the stability track and all that kind of stuff. And basically, if you get this car, just play with it and you'll figure it out. And you can see here for the center console, how it opens up like that. It's cup holders and stuff. We do get a glove box. And then notice here with the dash, and again, this is kind of like a base model, so there's not gonna be a bunch of like nice materials throughout. And then finishing things up here at the top, you can see that we have like the bubble design here with the top, and yeah, there you go. So here's our window sticker for the 86. First off, you can see standard equipment. And this is the important stuff right here, talking about the front suspension, the rear suspension, and then obviously the limited slip differential. And the rest of the stuff, yeah, it's still important. But notice the base price here, $27,700. And then after all options and destination, total MSRP, $29,033. So just a little bit under $30,000. And let's take it out for a test drive of sorts. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. So this is not really going to be a full-on test drive. I will be honest about that. I'm basically just getting this car back to its parking space, but I am creative, and I figured out a creative way to get this car back to its parking space, which is on the other side of the lot. And you know, the Larry Miller Toyota here in Murray has a very large lot. And so what we're gonna do is, well, we're just gonna take a quick little detour to the other side of the lot. Clutch is really good on this, actually. It's really easy to use. Love the transmission. Oh, wow. So you guys know I drove an automatic version of this, and I can tell you right now that the manual, just like right off the bat, feels a million times better than the automatic. Like a million times better. Yeah, it is just so much better. Like, there's no comparison. No comparison. And I know, again, that's a short test drive. I understand. We're just getting to the other side of the lot. But yeah, this transmission feels great. So yeah, I mean, super notchy, and I can tell like this has so much more low-end torque than the previous version. So like, everything said and done, I know, again, world's shortest test drive. Transmission feels amazing. This is way better than the automatic. This feels so much faster than the automatic, and compared to the previous version of the 86 on a low-end front, it feels substantially torqueier. And so I think, yeah, this is actually a huge improvement. So if you can get a hold of one of these, it would definitely be worth it. That is for sure. And look at this, it's so easy to park because it's so little. Like, boom. and we're right in our little parking space there. But yeah, I know it's again a short test drive. I guess I should also quickly talk about seats. Bolsters are still really aggressive, just like the previous 86. What this kind of feels like to me, honestly, is the interior feels like it's upgraded quite a bit with the gauge cluster, and you know, the infotainment system's somewhat similar. It just feels like everything's been just tuned to be a little bit nicer, and then the engine is just so much better than before. Yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't think that, I know, short drive, but I didn't think that I would like the improvements as much as I do with this car. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this 2022 Toyota 86. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larch Miller Toyota here in Murray for giving me some time with this 86. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I will see all of you in that next video.